Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the show. My name is Marc Farzetta. This is the Steven Singer Studios. Nice to have you along after the Eagles clinched, ladies and gentlemen, a playoff spot in the NFC. How about that? Who would have thought that on November 13th, for instance? November 13th, the Eagles were just a lowly 2-5 football team. And we were wondering what was going to happen with this team. And then they go out and they win. They beat the Broncos, and they take care of business from that point on, improved to 7-2 from that point on. Since the flower speech from Nick Sirianni himself, and we see this football team improve. We see those flowers grow and bloom and blossom right in front of our very eyes. So just let this sink in for a second. The Eagles are going to the playoffs, and they have 3 first-round picks in April. I know I tweeted last night, they have 3 first-round picks next year. And yes, that could, of course, mean, and it does mean the next calendar year for the NFL, for the NFL's calendar, it means the next year. But it also, in the actuality, means in April. The Eagles are going to the playoffs, and they have 3 first-round picks. And it just looks more and more likely like they have their franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts, which feels so good to say because I've been rooting so hard for it all season long. We'll let you hear in our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report after the game what Jalen Hurts had to say about this win, what Nick Sirianni had to say about his quarterback, and what some of his teammates had to say about his play as well. So much to get to on today's program, but it just feels so good that after the Packers took care of business against the Vikings, you know, since the Vikings, their little skull thing, skull on the Art Museum steps, things really haven't worked out for them too well, have they? No, they haven't. To the point where they get bounced out of the playoffs last night with the Packers beating them, and because the Packers beat them, and then you had some other things fall into place for the Eagles. 49ers winning was one of the things they needed to happen, and they did. They beat the Texans, and then the Eagles obviously handled their own business with a 20-16 win over Washington yesterday. We will dissect that win, of course, as the show goes on today, but we'll start you out with something we haven't done per se in a while here. That is the Farzy 5. And the 5 things, the 5 people that really jumped out to me the most in this game for the Eagles. Let's start it off at the bottom of the list. We're going to go with number 5 right here. Number 5 on the list today, without question, Avonte Maddox. Now, you might look at it and go, Avonte Maddox, he had those the pass interference call. BS pass interference. Okay, folks? BS pass interference. Now, you might say, well, he had his hand on his hip, he turned him, and it's pass interference. Sure, letter of the law, pass interference. If there was even a law to be written about pass interference, sure. But the way the referees were calling this game, with how Dallas Goedert was being abused in the early goings of this game, and then again in the second half, I thought you already wrote it up as to what was pass interference and what was not. You can't just ad-lib all of a sudden. So I don't even blame him for that. That just is a bad call as far as I'm concerned. But he had 3 different breakups in that fourth quarter. When the Eagles needed him to step up the most, he stepped up. He had a great one-on-one tackle with a lot of open field that could have changed the outcome of the game, but Avonte Maddox stepped up, made a great play late in that fourth quarter to help keep the Eagles in front and get Washington off the field. So credit to Avonte Maddox. He comes in at number 5 on the Farzy 5. Coming in at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go with Josh Sweat. Wreaking havoc in the backfield in this game. Kudos to him. Credit for him. Absolutely amazing game. Tyler Heinicke in the first half of this game could do just about whatever he wanted to do, but Josh Sweat was always there looming. Even if he got pressure, Heinicke made some plays. Second half, wasn't able to make those plays. And most of that was because Jannard Avery, who got an honorable mention on the Farzy 5, and also Josh Sweat was getting into the backfield. Fletcher Cox was getting into the backfield a little bit. Really, the defensive line of this game, changed the outcome. The defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles in the second half, with how they were able to dominate the line of scrimmage in that second half, changed the outcome of the game. And you'll hear from Josh Sweat, you'll hear from Rodney McLeod, but Josh Sweat, most notably, they asked him after the game, what were the adjustments? I was curious to know what the adjustments are. Like a lot of times I'll watch it and I'll go, it seems like they're doing the same thing. They're just successful. Like, I noticed there was a couple of different situations in the first half where Jonathan Gannon was dialing up some blitzes, where he was rushing more than just a regular 4-down lineman, for instance, and they weren't having success. They weren't getting home, in other words. Second half, they were getting home. Still noticed some blitzes, more so in the first half. Heinicke just made some incredible throws, and it didn't work out for the Eagles. Second half, you saw the defensive line start to get home. You saw them start to really rush throws from Washington and really started to have success in that realm. So that was great. But Josh Sweat was the guy that was really making things happen, deflecting passes that were going out to the flat, causing Heinicke to make a couple of erratic throws, which was great. So Josh Sweat on that list, no doubt. Rodney McLeod is the man that sealed the deal. Rodney McLeod is the man that stepped up and made that interception in the end zone. Heinicke sailed the ball. Rodney McLeod got under it. I was worried that maybe the ball hit the ground and he trapped it. Wasn't the case. So number 3 on my list, the guy that sealed the deal, one of the guys that addressed the team going into this game, Rodney McLeod, for the way he played throughout this football game, but most notably, he's number 3 on the list for the way he sealed the game with that interception. Number 2 on this list, number 2 in a uniform, Jalen Hurts, number 2 on this list. Here's where I always like to say, numbers never lie, but they sure as hell deceive. Jalen Hurts, the first go-around against this Washington football team, had, I believe it was 3 incompletions in total, and 2 of them were drops, I think. Yesterday, he had 9 incompletions. Yesterday, you can look at, if you really, really want to nitpick, there was an overthrow he had of Devontae Smith in the end zone. Had to rush the throw a little bit because pressure was coming at him. It's a throw he should have made, probably once back. But, that's going to happen in a football game with a quarterback. But the way he played in the second half of this football game, this was much more impressive to me this time around with 9 incompletions versus the first time around 12 days prior against this Washington football team. The stakes were higher. You had a playoff berth you were trying to clinch. You had to win to do that. You knew it was going to be a lot more difficult, but possibly be a lot more difficult the following week against the Cowboys. But going into this game, you didn't know if that game was going to be easier or harder going into it. So he stepped up against a much better Washington football team. Tyler Heinicke, obviously, is their starting quarterback when Ryan Fitzpatrick went down in week 1. So he's been the regular starter. He's the guy that led him on a 4-game winning streak. You weren't going up against old Gilbert there. No. You were going against Taylor Heinicke. And I don't say that name like it's Brett Favre or something like that. But it's better than Gilbert, all right? It's better than Garrett Gilbert, for instance. So he goes out in this game with a lot more on the line, on the road, and puts up in the second half of this game. And has the Eagles come back to win this game. Jalen Hurts, number 2 on my list for the Farzy 5 this week. And number 1, can't believe I didn't start this guy in my fantasy championship. Okay, it's the last time I'll reference it. Boston Scott. I love me some Boston Scott. Boston Scott is probably the only thing with Boston in the title that I appreciate. Boston Scott, 2 touchdowns in this game. He's your starting running back, even though they let Jordan Howard run a couple of times. He did not look 100%, not even a little bit, especially on those 3rd and short, 4th and short situations or goal line situations they put him in at. Did not look anything close to 100%. He's got the stinger, same injury that knocked him out for about 5 weeks a couple of years ago. So I can't trust what he's got going on. But Boston Scott comes in, runs the football well, catches the football well, punches in both touchdowns for you in this game. It was an incredible performance from Boston Scott when they needed somebody to step up in this running game, this number 1 rushing offense in the NFL. They needed someone to step up and do that, and that was Boston Scott. Can't believe, of course I can believe the game that he played because we have seen great performances from Boston Scott before. Usually they're against the Giants, but this time around, not so much. It was against Washington. The Eagles needed someone to step up offensively. Boston Scott was the guy that did that for him in numerous occasions throughout this football game. Just wholeheartedly impressed, close to 80 yards in total on the day with 2 touchdowns. They don't win this game without Boston Scott in the way that he played. So those are the 5 right there. Josh Sweat, Rodney McLeod, Avonte Maddox, Jalen Hurts, and Boston Scott. I gave it an honorable mention to Jannard Avery for the way he was able to get into the backfield and wreak havoc a little bit, right? One more honorable mention. Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, most people, including myself, if you made it through the introductory press conference, and I made it through the introductory press conference, did I have some fun with it? Of course I had some fun with it. And I'm looking at it like, well, that ain't good. Like, you know what? That guy leading the locker room? I don't know. I don't know how that's going to look. Rock, paper, scissors. Okay, he still had me. I actually like that. He brought me in a little bit more with the rock, paper, scissors thing. Hey, in the digital age, in the virtual world that we're all in, you got to get creative if you want to find out how competitive guys are. Years ago, he was challenging Gardner Minshew to a three-point contest. Gardner Minshew had to take his shirt off during it. There you go. This time around, you know what he had to do? He had to go rock, paper, scissors through a virtual meeting with a guy like Landon Dickerson. All right? Whatever you have to do to gauge somebody's competitiveness in the spur of a moment, good on you for finding a way to be creative, Nick, and doing it. Flower speech. That's where I put my money on the table like Kramer and just said, I'm out. I didn't think you could reach a locker room full of football players by talking about how they're all a bunch of daisies. But sure enough, they have turned it around 7-2 since the flower speech. 7-2 since putting seeds in the ground, fertilizer, water, more water, the budding beautiful flowers into a playoff team. One thing, and I know our friends in the chat here aren't going to like this, but I'm doing it. I'm going with our friend Mike Sealski. Mike Sealski did say, and I give him credit for this before, Mike Sealski did tell us when he was on with us from the Inquirer, saying, it seems odd, seems weird, but he's not a 22 to 30-year-old male in that locker room. Meaning maybe you reach that group, that demographic, a lot differently than coaches used to. Turns out that's exactly the case. Now, I don't think it hurts that the Eagles' schedule was god-awful in the second half of the season, but here's what happens. People are going to talk about that schedule, and I've seen people kicking this around on social media already. Oh, who they play in the second half? I'll tell you who they played. They played bad teams. You know what the Eagles are? Not a bad team. You know who beats bad teams? Good teams. You know who beats good teams? Great teams. I don't think the Eagles are a great team, but I think the Eagles are a good team. And whatever adjective you want to use, there's really no better adjective right now, a more accurate adjective than a playoff team. That's what the Eagles are right now, a playoff team, because they put themselves in this position. When you look at that date, November 14th, they went out and they beat the Broncos. That was after they beat the Chargers, or after they lost to the Chargers, and they dropped to an abysmal 2-5. They went on a run after that. The Eagles then went, listen to this, Dallas Cowboys, by the way, how about this? On November 16th, because Dallas played, I think, that Monday night. November 16th, no, it was the 14th. Dallas was 7-2. Dallas was 7-2 on November 14th. The Eagles were 4-6, working their way back from a 2-5 start. You know how they did that? Jalen Hurts improvement, Nick Sirianni's game plan adjustment. That's how they did it. Now, you want to talk about how they did face bad teams? They did. And I think when you break it down, I think the Eagles' defense is really the one that benefited mostly. Jonathan Gannon's defensive scheme, if you will, benefited mostly from them playing terrible football teams. You look at the quarterbacks that they played, of course. But overall, this team, this Eagles team, playing bad teams allowed them to prove themselves to be a good team. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about facing a team like the Lions as a prove-it game. Go ahead and prove you're not a god-awful football team. Go ahead and prove you're not a bad football team. That's what you can do against lower-tier talent, bad talent, lack of talent, really. And that's what the Eagles did, and that's why the Eagles are in this position to be 7-2 over their last 9 games and headed to the playoffs in the first year of Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback and Nick Sirianni is the first year as your head coach. That is awesome. And at the beginning of the year, I said if Jalen Hurts is special, this team could win 9 games. The team could win 9 or 10 games if Jalen Hurts is special. Well, they're sitting on 9 wins right now. They're in the playoffs right now. I think Jalen Hurts is a special player. I look at the improvement that he's had from the start of the year till now. I look at how Nick Sirianni has coached up this team, how he has changed his game plan, how he has made adjustments in game, how he has made adjustments from game to game and stuck with what works. We talked last week with John Barchard about how, did it really take a lot to think of, let me run the football. I've watched a number of coaches, Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, consistently consistently change things and get away from what has worked, or abandon what maybe didn't work in the beginning, like the run game, for instance. Nick Sirianni in the early goings of the year, I said this, didn't abandon the run. He ignored it to the point where even Andy Reid was like, maybe you shouldn't run the football. Like, that's the way the season started out for the Eagles. And then Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, and this offensive line just cultivated something special on the offensive side of the football. Defense, they got better. They did, since that Chargers game, they did blitz a little bit more as the season went on. But really, I thought defensively that the biggest thing that changed was Fletcher Cox going off at that press conference following the Raiders loss, saying, I'm not the defensive coordinator. I'm a team leader. I get paid to sack the quarterback. I don't get paid to break up or stop the run or break up passes or whatever it is. No, he gets paid to sack the quarterback, and he's not in a position right now in this defense under Jonathan Gannon, who somehow magically is getting head coaching consideration. I don't know, but those are the reports that are out there. But ever since that Raiders game, something happened where Jonathan Gannon and Jonathan Gannon had said that he did talk to Fletcher Cox after that press conference, and since then, it's been a much different Fletcher Cox, much different. And I'm here for it, and I'm enjoying every second of it. But this team has gone through adjustments. I think most of those adjustments have come on the offensive side of the football, and you'll have watched this team play as a good football team. Not a great football team. Hey, go ahead and make that playoff run. Go show us the old adage of just get in the tournament. Anything can happen. Go show us that. And, yeah, we'll all get behind that. Hey, look, everyone's behind them right now as it is. Everyone's enjoying the hell out of what they're watching from the Eagles. Now it's a matter of just taking that next step. And how about this? Eagles will get another primetime game Saturday night, 8:15 kickoff on ESPN ABC as they take on the Dallas Cowboys in a game that doesn't really mean anything now. It means maybe, 38 more yards for Devontae Smith. So he breaks Deshaun Jackson's rookie record. Now I know he's got one more game to do it. That's fine. But I don't believe in asterisks. I believe in knowing your history. It's as simple as that. When you looked at the 12-game season, 14, 16-game season, you didn't see asterisks. You just had to know when that actually happened. So that just, you don't need a cheat sheet. That's what an asterisk is anyway. We are going to get into our the amazing things that happened after this game. We're going to get into Antonio Brown a little bit. I got my own little message for Antonio Brown and anyone that's like, maybe the Eagles should sign him. No, we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. And we also have an attacking guardrail, if you haven't seen that yet, at FedEx Field, which is a dump of a stadium. It's always been a dump of a stadium. I never liked going there. I've been there a number of times. I was paid every time I went there, and that's the only way I would ever go because that stadium sucks. Statement of fact, not even an opinion. Anyway, let me tell you, before we get into our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report, let me tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven is the absolute man, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully you took care of your lovely missus, your soon-to-be missus, your lovely lady, or ladies, maybe you took care of your guy. Maybe you guys took care of whoever you love in your life, right? Hopefully you did that at Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven is the man. When it comes to taking care of people in Philadelphia, that's what he's been doing for the last 40 years as he has dominated the love business. People say, I hate Steven Singer. You know who really says that? I'll tell you who. Other jewelers say that about Steven Singer. And why do they say that? Because Steven doesn't mark things way up, and then when you walk in the store, he marks it way down just to make you feel like you're getting some kind of deal, make you feel like you won something, negotiating, haggling. No. Set at the perfect price every single time. So when they walk in, you don't have to feel like, oh man, am I good at negotiating? Can I get them down to this price? No, it's already marked down to the perfect price every single time. So this way you don't have to worry about that haggling. You don't have to worry about that negotiating. You don't have to worry about whether or not the guy next to you is paying less than you because you're getting taken care of with the perfect price. You don't have to worry about a discount, a promo code, anything like that. You just worry about what you want to buy, because a real jewelry expert will walk you through everything at Steven Singer Jewelers. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day. Always fast and free shipping at Steven Singer Jewelers. Just taking a glance at the taking a glance over at the comment section already. Fire! It's just fire right now. People are pumped. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I just love everybody in 2022. Happy New Year, by the way, people. I still have the Jack Daniels down here, by the way, just in case, you know. Maybe there's a playoff win. We'll break the Jack Daniels open again. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, let's jump into our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and also, of all the wonderful people in our comments, we have a very special commenter that we think is a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. And we'll get into that in just a second. But let's get to our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report. First off, before we even get into the locker room, Jalen Hurts attacked by the guardrail at FedEx Field. If you haven't seen this yet, it's pretty incredible. Jalen Hurts walking off the field. This is captured by Mike Garafolo, former WIP producer Mike Garafolo, as well as now NFL Network correspondent, following Jalen Hurts off the field. If you haven't seen it yet, good golly, check this out. Okay, first off, FedEx Field is a dump. Let me just say that one more time. Can't say it enough because it literally smells like crap. I'm not even kidding you. The second, if you ever need to know about the poise of Jalen Hurts at any point, look no further than him walking down the tunnel, waving to fans leaning over a guardrail collapses, fans falling at his feet left and right, and Jalen Hurts is just like, who wants a selfie? Like, who wants? That is all you need to know about Jalen Hurts. And also all you need to know about FedEx Field, because it's a dump, in case I haven't said that yet. It's a dump. But before that unfolded, Jalen Hurts was on the football field with Mike Garafolo, and he was asking questions. He was being asked about the resiliency of this football team, and to the people that like myself, ripped the flower conversation, Jalen Hurts embraced it.
Take us through that last play when you're watching on the sideline. What are you seeing?
I was just hoping for a play. I'm so proud of this team's perseverance, ability to overcome anything and everything. We've shown that all year. Them roots grew up and they sprouted. And just so proud of these guys, man.
The roots have sprouted. They've grown up and they've sprouted. Everybody made a big deal of Jason Kelce's speech at the NovaCare Complex in the bubble. It was going around social media. It was trending on social media. It was all over the place. One of the things Jason Kelce said in that speech was, I've watched this grow. And I thought he was going to go flowers again. Didn't necessarily go flowers. But I think everybody in that room knew what he was talking about. He was watching flowers grow. And that's what this Eagle team has done throughout this football season. It is something spectacular. And your starting quarterback just referenced it right there to the NFL Network. Now, this was interesting. I didn't see this or hear about it until I watched, because I do the post-game show with Gunnar and Devin Caney on the Jacob Media YouTube page. And I'm watching it and 6abc.com, and I'm doing the show, so I don't get to watch everything live. And then I got to go back and I got to watch all the press conferences and all that stuff. So I go back and I watch Nick Sirianni. And I didn't see it highlighted anywhere. He talked about a calmness. It was almost a Zen-like stage. A Zen-like feeling going on throughout this game. Even when the Eagles were really struggling in the first half of this game, there was a calmness. And here's Nick Sirianni talking about that calmness throughout this entire football game, especially when it comes to his starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
What you saw today, what I felt on the sideline today was this calmness. There was a calmness throughout the entire game. And we've had more double-digit wins than, I think we've only had one game that was not a double-digit win, correct me if I'm wrong, against Carolina. But that whole game, there was just this, I say it again, there was just this calmness from our leaders on the team that reflected to everybody else. Fletch, Rodney McLeod, Jason Kelce, Jalen Hurts. Jalen was so calm throughout the entire game. And that's what you do when you take things little by little. And when you're down 2 scores at the end of the first half, you're not going to get it all at one, with one drive, right? You're going to go down there and you're going to make it a tighter game with the drive, but you can't get all your points back, just like you can't get all your wins back when you start low. So it's just us recovering from the 2-5 to where we are now is it kind of prepared us, it prepares you for games like this.
Calmness, baby. When I look at Nick Sirianni, I don't really ever go, that guy's calm. Like, I don't, he's got a soothing demeanor. Like, I don't think about that at all. Like, I think about, like, a guy that loves ball, man. He just loves ball, and he wants you to love ball, too. You got to love ball. Like, that's what I think of when I think of Nick Sirianni. And even when this team watched the Washington football team march down the field in their opening drive and just score a touchdown like it was nothing, it was like, okay, everyone's cool. And then the Eagles try to go for it on 4th and 2. They don't get it. Hey, calm. Everyone's calm. Everyone's fine. No problem. And then next thing you know, you're down 10. Everyone's calm. Everyone's fine. No problem here. And as the game went on, Washington continued to build momentum in that first half. And then they put up 16 points in that first half. And then you shut them out in the second half. So that's why the calmness was there. It's all about confidence, right? You're not calm unless you're confident that you got control of the situation. And then he focuses in a little bit more. Nick Sirianni goes on to focus a little bit more on Jalen Hurts and his calmness throughout this game. This is what he had to say about his quarterback.
That's definitely a reflection on how the quarterback is and how he was all day today and how he is in general and the leaders on our team. Like I said, all the guys on Alex Singleton and Fletcher Cox and Rodney McLeod and Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, right? And those guys are calm. They're calm. They've been in these situations before. And so what a great resource to have those guys, and not only to make the plays that they make throughout the entire game, but to have that veteran leadership that we have. And like you said, it starts with Jalen and as one of our captains, and we got Darius Slay, who's not a captain but who shows that confidence and calmness throughout an entire game, and TJ Edwards. I mean, like, we just got some great guys on this team that know what it is to put their head down and work, whether things are going good or things are going bad.
One more thing I want you to hear from Nick Sirianni, because this is also interesting. So we've been talking about this Jalen Hurts ankle injury and how much that has kind of hampered his abilities. And you've noticed he hasn't run a lot over the last couple of weeks. You notice the run game has changed a little bit in that dynamic. You've seen a couple of runs here and there from Jalen Hurts, but not like he was maybe 4 weeks ago prior to the injury. So there was a point in this game, I think it's later clarified as the second half of the game. I think Jeff McClain asked Jalen Hurts about it after the game. And I believe the phrase he said was, or what he used to be more specific, was the second half of the game. Nick Sirianni didn't specify. But he was asked about Jalen Hurts' ankle injury, and he was asked about some of the scrambles that he had in this game and how much that was hindering him over the last couple of weeks. And Nick Sirianni didn't pull any punches, was very open about it. And this is what he had to say after the game about Jalen Hurts and his ankle injury.
We all know he's dealing with an ankle injury and, fighting through it. He's tough. This guy is so tough. You guys, I mean, just to see it every day, I love seeing that every day. That's what I've said this plenty of times. High character, physical, tough, smart guys are going to reach their ceiling. This guy is so tough. And he looked at me at one point in this game and said, obviously the whole game was tight, so tight part of this game. He looked at me and said, whatever you got to call, and I'll make it work. And what he was saying to me was run, pass, quarterback run, quarterback read, whatever you call. I know how much this game means to our team. I'll make it work. And that, gosh, the calmness, the confidence, that installs calmness and confidence in everybody. And so, again, can't say enough for him as a leader, can't say enough for him as a competitor, can't say enough about his toughness. I hope everyone knows when I give a player the compliment of being a tough player, from me, that's the best compliment that I can give. I just think so much of our players that are tough, and we got a lot of tough guys on this football team. That's who I think we are as a football team, and Jalen Hurts is the epitome of that. When
they make the movie about Jalen Hurts' life, like they just made about that Kurt Warner fella, When they make the movie about Jalen Hurts' life, this will be a defining moment. Maybe if they make the movie about Nick Sirianni's coaching career, defining moment. Very real dramatic. Music comes up, right? Jalen Hurts trots off the field. Coach, you call whatever you need to. I'm ready to go. Da, 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 da. And the music comes up a little bit more, and then he runs, for like a 20-yard gain, and Boston Scott scores a touchdown. They get another field goal, and they beat Washington, and all that's great. And then he dodges a collapsing guardrail. That'll be the traumatic moment of the game. And yet a guardrail couldn't get Jalen Hurts. That'll be the thing. I love that. Like, is that not what we always root for and support in Philadelphia? A guy that's like, this hurts a hell of a lot, but so what? We got to win. Like, when people say, like, when I have said numerous times, I root for Jalen Hurts. He is so easy to root for. That's what I'm talking about. Team leader, selfless, just wants to go out there and make sure he can put the team in a good position to win football games. Like, that's it. And all the noise surrounding him throughout the entire offseason, even now, like last week, people are talking about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, Eagles could have interest in Aaron Rodgers. Really? The Eagles could have interest in a 3-time, maybe soon to be 4-time MVP? No way. Thanks for that breaking piece of news. Anyway, but he just rises above it. And the guy just goes out there and concentrates on improving to help the team. And I know a lot of people will look at it, especially before the ankle injury, and say, oh, he looks to run too much. I could not disagree with that more. I don't think he looks to run nearly as much as people try to paint that picture. I just think that's a false narrative that people are trying to push. I think the offense dictates that a lot. And I think if he sees something in the RPO game, he will take it. Or if he's got to scramble, buy time like he did on that 3rd and 14 situation where he couldn't get out of the pocket, finally did, escaped to the right, found Greg Ward for the first down. That was masterful by Jalen Hurts. But again, he was calm, just like his head coach is saying. He was cool, and he was accurate on that throw. It was a great throw from Jalen Hurts. And throughout this game, you continued to see him use his legs behind the line of scrimmage. And when he did have to break one, he broke one off for about 20 yards. So that was showing me, at least, and I think showing his head coach, that if he did need to call a couple more runs, hey, I'm here for you, coach. I can do this. I think that's somebody we can always support and get behind in Philadelphia. Now, that was what he said, according to his head coach, Nick Sirianni. Here's Jalen Hurts when he was asked about that conversation that he had with his head coach when he was asked about it by Jeff McClain.
Jalen, Nick told us that in the second half you came up to him and said, hey, coach, whatever you got to call it. Was that in reference to having you run more? And then were there specific plays he called, like perhaps that quarterback draw, that were a result of what you had said to him?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Dave.
That's a great answer. Usually that should be a terrible answer. And for someone like me who interviews people, like when you get an answer like that, you're like, okay. That's the perfect answer. That's the perfect answer. And look at Jalen Hurts in the swag. Got the old school Eagles jacket on. And I believe, I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure, almost positive, so I'm just going to say it was anyway. I believe that is an Eagles old school jacket with an Allen Iverson t-shirt. I believe he is wearing an Allen Iverson t-shirt. I wish I didn't tell you that just now. I should have waited a couple of clips because now you're not going to be focused on what he's saying. You're going to be just looking at it and be like, is that AI? I'm pretty sure that's AI. That's the most Philly outfit ever. That's pretty much it. Here's what Jalen Hurts also said. Now you go from 2-5 to 7-2, 9-7, make the playoffs. Following me there on those numbers? Beep, bump, bump. Playoffs is basically what that means after being 2-5. Jalen Hurts, when he was asked about 2-5 to the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen, here's what he had to say about that.
I've always had the approach of enjoying it when it's done. I let everybody else reflect on how far we've come as a football team. I'll let you guys talk about that. And I'll prepare myself for these questions as they continue to come in. But for me, the job isn't done for us. It's not done. We're not done yet.
That's all you want to hear. We ain't done yet. We made it to the playoffs. We put ourselves in position to be in the playoffs. They just needed the Panthers to win, or they needed the San Francisco 49ers to win. And then they needed the Packers to beat a backup quarterback-led Vikings team. And they did that at the frozen tundra last night in Green Bay. They put themselves in this spot, and that's all you can really ask for. They control their own destiny. You win, baby, you're going to be in the playoffs, and that's where the Eagles are right now. How phenomenal is that? I believe there's one more thing I wanted to get here. Here is Jalen Hurts when he was asked about that guardrail. There you go.
Well, I'm just happy everybody's safe from it. Happy everybody's safe from it. That's crazy. That's crazy stuff right there. That was a real dangerous situation. And I'm just so happy everybody bounced back from it. It seemed like it. Passion of the Eagles fans. I love it.
I will say, I just love the idea again of just things falling at his feet and he's like, who wants a selfie? That's the greatest thing. And that is an Allen Iverson shirt. I'm going with it. That's an AI shirt. Zero question about it. That's AI. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's hear from the man that actually sealed the game for us. That was Rodney McLeod, sealing the Eagles' victory yesterday with a 20-16 victory over the Washington football team. Rodney McLeod and his INT and what he saw.
I knew I caught it once I secured it, really. That was the biggest thing. I let one slip away the first time we played them, and so wanted to just make sure I closed this game out the right way. Felt good to be able to finish the game, make a big catch, play for this team, and got to give credit, obviously, to God for putting me in this position and for, honestly, my guy Ant for having great coverage and affecting that throw, and I was able to capitalize on it.
All right. Now, it took me a couple of times to hear that. His God's name is not Ant. Okay. My guy is what he said. He credited God, and hey, God's awesome. But then I thought it was like, wait, my God, Ant. Who's Ant? I don't even know. I know like Buddha. I know that God. But like, who's Ant? I don't know who Ant was. But Anthony Harris is who he was talking about on that particular play. Came up with a great catch. Sealed the victory. Credit to Rodney McLeod for making the right read. Credit to Taylor Haneke for overthrowing a pass, letting it sail on him. Everybody saw it. So that was your Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report from your Philadelphia Eagles. I believe I got you everything. Oh, no, I said I'd get to this. I'll get to this. Get to it right now. So the Eagles yesterday shut out the Washington football team in the second half of play. The first half, they looked terrible. The first half, the Washington football team did not look very good. The Washington football team looked very good against a very bad Eagles defense. I'm thinking I noticed blitzes in the first half. I noticed blitzes in the second half. What was the difference? And I'm like, could it just be that their D-line just stepped up and whatever, some motivating speech happened at halftime? Is that all that really took? Did Jonathan Gannon say, guys, the game plan works, just execute? Like, what happened? Well, Rodney McLeod also said yesterday that they did not have any type of adjustment. Fletcher Cox addressed the team. Darius Slay, I believe, was another one that addressed the team. And they just picked things up from that point on. They just started playing better football. That's it. There was no, all right, guys, let's get to the chalkboard or take out your Microsoft Surfaces. Let's make adjustments. No. It was just, let's stop sucking. That's basically what happened. They weren't playing up to their level of intensity. They needed to up their intensity. That's the word Rodney McLeod used. After the game, Josh Sweat was asked about any type of adjustments that they made. Here's how Josh Sweat, Mr. Sack and a Half yesterday, Josh Sweat addressed that answer.
I don't think we made any. I think I know we just executed better. Everybody was just in the right spots. Everybody started playing better, and I think that's all it boiled down to. Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that is all it takes. But the Eagles allow 16 points in the first half, 0 points in the second half. So not too bad. Not too bad from the Eagles right there. That was our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report. Brought to you by Rothman Orthopaedics. Let me tell you about the great people of Rothman Orthopaedics. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. BetQL. What'd I tell you on Friday? I told you a little bit on Friday, right? I told you a little bit on Friday. Friday, I told you. I loved Bama covering. They did just that. I told you I liked Michigan. That was stupid. But I didn't bet Michigan. Okay, I bet a couple of bucks on Michigan. But I bet more bucks on the Alabama team. They covered. They won. I'm a happy man. And then I bet Ohio State for some stupid reason to cover. And I don't know why I did that. I did it because I love my wife's family. That's why I did it. They're all Ohio State people. And I just wanted to make them happy. But you know what I should have done? I did it for Michigan, or excuse me, I did it for Bama. I didn't do it for anybody else, but I should have done it. Used BetQL. Folks, if you want to make the smart bets, use BetQL. Download the BetQL app and get all the inside information you need to make the smart bets. It's the best way to make and get the advantage over your sportsbook. Download the BetQL app. The best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and they give you the reasoning behind why you should place that bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player prop bets, and if you don't want to use their model and prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news. They even have a leaderboard for you to track your own success, and you'll have a lot of it if you download the BetQL app. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. Let me tell you about the great people at PHL Sports Nation. That's Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. Follow the rest of the Eagles season with Eagles Nation. Follow everything with hockey. Follow everything at PHL Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. How about the awesome people at WinView? Fantasy season might be ending today with Monday Night Football, the conclusion of Week 17. Told you I'm in my championship. Things right now, I have Jamar Chase. I will say that. But going into this game, I had a 30% chance of winning. Yeah, and I'm playing against a guy who's like one of the best in our league. I was a middle tier team. But yeah, I'm leading by a point right now, which is why I really wish I started Boston Scott. But you know what? If things are going well for you in your championship, now here's the deal. I got Chase Claypool and I got Nick Chubb going tonight. He's got Najee Harris. Cool. I'm up a point. But anyway, if things weren't going so well, I might challenge somebody to a WinView challenge. I'm still going to do it to the person that's finishing in the third place game anyway, just see if I can win some money that way. Now, what's WinView, you say? Download the WinView app and take care of business, ladies and gentlemen. It's the only app where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who knows more about sports? If your friend's always talking trash, if your family member's always talking about how much they know about sports, challenge them to a WinView contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. That's WinView. WinView contest. Challenge that right now. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and win real money prizes on making predictions at the games that you love. So download the WinView app right now. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before I get to all you fine people, and I love every one of you, I got to just show you this real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. All right? I'm going to pop this up on the screen for a second here. All right. Now, this is a video that we did, an interview that we did last week with John Barchard. It aired on Friday's show. Why Jalen Hurts is the guy. Philadelphia Eagles need to invest in Jalen Hurts. John Barchard and myself, I think, identified ourselves as the Jalen Hurts #1 fan. This person, Pamela Hurts, puts it out there, you're #2. Now, before we put the pieces together here at the Farzy Show, I looked at this and I'm like, you're #2? Is she calling me #2? Is this commenter calling me poop? Is that what she's doing? Because people have called me poop for my Jalen Hurts takes because I support the guy, or I critique one throw and it's like, you hate Jalen Hurts. And I was like, no, not even a little bit. I love the guy. I want him to be here for like 20 years as a quarterback of this team. Who wouldn't want the quarterback of the future to be on the roster already and be that young? Who wouldn't? And especially with his mindset that separates him from anybody else, really, that's the difference maker as far as I'm concerned. Who wouldn't want that mindset in an Eagles uniform for the foreseeable future? So upon further review and going back, it turns out this Pamela Hurts person, we have reason to believe, is none other than the mother of Jalen Hurts himself. Herself, Pamela Hurts. Pamela, first off, let me just say this. Thanks for commenting. Now, we have not officially confirmed this is her. Like, we haven't conversed with her. However, we have strong reason to believe that that's Pamela Hurts, mother of Jalen Hurts. So thanks for commenting. She is now in the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. And if we're the number one quarterback, she's saying, excuse me, you're the number two fans. You're not his number one fan. You're his number two fan. So there you go. Pamela, welcome to the party. Great to have you. Love your son. There you go. Now let's jump into our fine people in the chat. Carter says, let's go. Mopar says, cheese is the cut and paste king. Cheese, what are you doing now? I'm missing more. I bet you I'm missing more. I hope I'm not missing more. It's possible. Carter says, let's go. Cheese is Carter, I'm pumped. Are you? We're all pumped. I'm pumped a lot. John Cheeseborough says, Jimmy Kemsky posted it last night. Yeah, I'm definitely missing stuff again. This sucks. Nothing wrong with the copy and paste. Let my man live. Damn right, Mopar, says John. Pete, good morning to you. Matt, Farzy Show. Oh, what's up, Matt? That's very nice of you. Thank you. The defense literally drove me crazy. John, I'm right there with you. Pete saying, what about Boston Market on Old York Road? Boston Market on Old York Road. I remember the Boston Market that's right there in Doylestown. That's not Main Street. What is that? It's where the Foster's costume shop used to be and the Pizza Hut. And now I think there's also there's a car wash there and a CVS. Trying to remember the one on Old York Road. I don't know, but I've probably been there. Morning, people. Playoffs, says Sean. Playoffs to you. Admitted, Farzy, you like some Boston Market, too. Pete, I won't shy away from it. I enjoy Boston Market. What it used to be? Boston Garden? It used to be Boston Garden. And I'm like, Garden, that's eloquent for me shoving fat, greasy chicken in my face. Thank you. And they're just like, we should call it a market. Ayo, Sean. April, good morning to you. Can't believe that one is still open. Is it still open? It's been a minute. We're taking notes from the Farzy 5. Thank you, Inside Birds. You guys are awesome. Caught your pregame show yesterday. The defense was so Rager in the first half. John, off to a flying start. Deshante Dupree, Eagle. Damn right. Don Vito, what's going on? Excited for the playoffs. Deshante Maddox was clutch. You damn right he was clutch. John Cheeseborough again. How do you let Heineke start 11 for 11, seemingly get very little pressure on him? I'll say this. He made circus throws. And Nick Sirianni was asked about it. I think it was one of the first questions in his press conference about, what the defense did different. And in typical Nick Sirianni fashion, his reaction to that question was, did you guys see the throws Heineke, he called him Heineke, the throws Heineke made? Did you see the throws that Heineke made? There's some great throws, bro. I just always picture him saying bro a lot when he's not on mic. It's one of as bad as people said it was. I thought it was actually interesting to see him talk so damn much in his first press conference. See, Deshante, I will say this. I disagree. I think Nick Sirianni's press conference was a damn train wreck. I thought it was horrendous. It didn't make me go, nope, out. No, thank you. It made me close to it, though, because it's not just about a press conference. It's about seeing him in a pressure situation in a game trying to make a play call. Seeing him facing adversity in a season going in the locker room, and you're like, that's the guy that's going to be like, if you've ever been in a situation where someone has tried to get more out of you, and that someone just isn't the right person to be delivering the message, and you're listening to that guy, and you're like at the workplace, and like, all right, guys, we got to get numbers up. We got to move some units. I don't know what you guys do for a living. But have you ever listened to that guy, and you're like, what the hell is he talking about? And the guy's stuttering and stammering all over the place, and you're not really sure where he's going with it. And then he's like, all right, let's go. And you're like, I guess. That doesn't go well. This is a perfect example of Nick Sirianni not being a very good public speaker, but great in his own natural habitat. His own natural habitat is a football locker room or the sidelines. Press conference, although he's gotten a lot more comfortable as time goes on. Hell, 2 weeks ago when he had COVID, he was doing the press conference from his hospital, God forbid, from his hotel bedroom. Sitting in a hotel bed, answering questions on his phone. Think about how that looks for a second. Yeah, Mike Sealski. Yeah, that's how I like to run the football. Yeah, John McMullen. That's how I like to do things. Yeah, Jimmy, that's what I like to do there. Like, that doesn't look good, but he's relaxed. He's calm. Cool, collected. Nick Sirianni. That's literally, I'm now seeing myself in the monitor. Like, that's just a weird look. Anyway, sorry. What's happening, everybody else? Deshante Hello again. Mopar, good morning. There was an Antonio Brown out yesterday, $1 million worth of damage. I got a little something special for that Antonio Brown fella in a second. April, all these people clowning AB. That man has never been the same since he took that hit from Perfect. That's a great point. I remember when stuff really started hitting the fan in Pittsburgh, people were talking about that hit. You know what's really funny? Like, I look at it, not funny, but like just weird. I remember working a game behind the scenes, and Antonio Brown came up to do our post-game show. I was a stage manager. NBC very briefly, Sunday Night Football, did a post-game show. I forget what it was even called, but it was with Josh Elliott, Chris Collinsworth, and then they would interview the star of the game. And one of the stars of the game was Antonio Brown. So I actually met Antonio Brown. And he was like so cool, so nice, so humble, you know. And then he just went off the rails in Pittsburgh, goes to the Raiders and has a big falling out with Mayock and John Gruden wants to give him a second chance and all that stuff. And then he tanks to go to, he basically has a self-tank to go to the Buccaneers to team up with Tom Brady, or excuse me, to team up with Tom Brady first in New England. Didn't work out. Gets another chance to go to Tom Brady again in Tampa. Doesn't work out. And then he blows himself up yesterday. It's just funny to look back on that first impression and be like, what a nice young man. And then this guy seems out of his gourd. So anyway, that's the thing on Antonio Brown. Talk a little bit more about him later. I hope Sealski actually gets stuck in a Jaguars game. Oh, you hope Sealski's TV gets stuck on a Jaguars game. Gotcha. All right. My bad, John. I hope Sealski is the only person outside of Chicago to get the Vikings-Bears game on Sunday. What's Evan saying? They played their schedule and won. What more could you ask for? Evan, phenomenal point. Yazabel, I don't know what that means, but nice to have you. I hope Sealski has his sneeze and it never comes out. John, I hope Sealski has to sneeze and it never comes out. For anyone new to the show, the chat hates Mike Sealski. I think it's because of a Flyers thing. But anyway, by the way, Flyers point streak ended. That's a shame. It really is. I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm just trying to speak quickly here. Sealski TV, annoys me. YouTube comment. Don Vito says, you know what annoys me with the YouTube comment section? People are dumb, and when you give your opinion on how the Eagles will play this year, they get mad at you. I think that you don't even have to say the YouTube comment section. I think you just mean to say comment section, like of anything. Like I remember if anything's ever been written about me in any publication, website, whatever, my mom will call me. And my mom, who's the sweetest woman on the planet, will go, oh, Mark, I was reading this article about you, and it said this, that, and the other. It was a very nice article or whatever. And I'm like, oh, yeah, hey, thanks, Mom. And then she goes, and then I read there's like a thing below that's not written by the writer, but written by other people. And I'm like, oh, God, no. And she's like, it's called the comment. I'm like, Mom, no. Stay away from the comment section. And she's like, they say some nasty things. I'm like, yeah, Mom, that's why you should stay the hell away from the comment section. Speaking of the Bears, can you believe those clowns enforced a local blackout yesterday? Browns are terrible. Oh, excuse me, Bears are terrible. Why can't I change the damn channel? Mopar, I don't know. We are a good team. We are a good team. Eagles are a good team. Eagles take care of business, says John. They had played what's on their schedule. Exactly. Nick, what's going on? Nice to see you. Al, what's going on? Al, why was it moved to Saturday? Because the NFL hates us. That's why it was moved to Saturday. So cancel your plans. You're watching the Eagles-Cowboys game Saturday night, 8:15 kickoff. No one should be surprised. FedEx Field is a dump. It is a literal poop raining on people. Yes, that is what YouTube champion of the world and former Colts punter Pat McAfee had to say about it. Literally raining poop, and now that happened. I've been to FedEx Field a number of times, as I've told you. The place is awful. I will never go there if I'm not being paid to be there. And you should not go there unless you're paid to be there either. Or you get free tickets. Do you think Farzy opens his closet and peers in? It says, what shirt should I wear today? Still, Mopar? You know what? I'm going to take a picture of the shirts I have outside the studio. And I'm really pissed because I bought that really nice, the people that have been around a while, I bought that really nice teal shirt months ago. I think my wife washed it with, I had a paper towel in the breast pocket. It leaked into the breast pocket and it would turn yellow. And I tried getting the stain out and it didn't work. I got to buy a new teal shirt. So there you go. That'll be a nice little change up for people. Keep you guys guessing. Usually it's a light blue shirt, white shirt, stripes occasionally. Mopar, I believe Farzy does his chat check hum while deciding on a shirt. That's great. Nope, just pretty much take it off the hanger and come in the studio. NFL Don Vito, new NFL rule. Let Sealski walk through the tunnel first just to make sure it's safe. Oh, Alyssa, what's going on, Alyssa? Nice to have you. Mark, another girl? I don't know why, but I feel like all the guys in the chat, whenever a girl comes into the chat, oh, April saying good morning, Alyssa. Look at you guys. That's beautiful. The girl comes in the chat. I picture you guys like a 1950s like a Happy Days episode, because like combing your hair real quick, tucking in your shirts. I wonder if she'll look at me. I'll give her my pin. Anyway, see, in the old days, folks, guys used to give the girl a pin, and she'd wear the pin. Oh, you're wearing Bobby's pin. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, by the olden days, I mean like my grandparents. That's probably even older than my grandparents. Anyway, CPA outdoorsman. That's a combo. His antsiness, I assume this is Nick Sirianni. His antsiness is why he's able to talk to players. So will now M. Okay. Maybe that is appealing to players, his antsiness. How much did Farzy smoke and eat checkers after that win? 0, unfortunately. All right, nice big old thing of lasagna yesterday. Delicious. I hope Mike Sealski's inner monologue is forever narrated by Shannon Sharp. I also hope that that whenever Sealski thinks of another voice, it's by Skip Bayless. That is hell on earth. That is hell on earth. Benny, nice to have you, Benny. What's going on? Sirianni looks like the after picture if you see presidents after 8 years in office. April says it's a good point, Mark, and Mark, you're right. Sean, is anybody calm during that game? Those slow starts are killing us. Sean, yes, the slow starts are a huge issue for the Eagles. If they're going to have any chance at winning a playoff game, they cannot have a slow start. Definitely, no doubt about it. CPI Dozman, laugh out loud. Cards still got the big W. Always good to see the Cowboys lose. I concur. Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Nice to have you. Who else do we have here? Alyssa Sirianni, that is, not you, Farzy. Thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that. I assume that's Alyssa's previous comment was, gotta say, don't love listening to this guy talk. If I would have seen that, I would have thought it was me. But then Alyssa said, Sirianni, not you, Farzy. Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate you clarifying. Mark says, Alyssa, wasn't sure. Julian, Farzy Nation winning vibes. Very nice, Julian. Thank you. Did I miss, JC, did I miss any good isms? I didn't see any other isms yet. Lotta, just Lotta. Lotta is saying, Farzy been supportive of Jalen Hurts all year. You damn right I've been. Rodgers is considering retirement. I'm good, says Mark. Mark, I agree with you. Another Mark in the chat. We got, I think, 2 or 3 Marks in the chat. This is Mark Robinson this time, not Mark Langer. Let's see here. Or Farzetta, for that matter. Farzy needs to wear that outfit. The Jalen Hurts outfit? Let's bring that back for a second here.
I've always had the approach of enjoying it when it's done. I let it.
Yeah, I could rock that. If people tried rocking the Minshew thing, I could rock that. Come on now, please. I thought about going handlebars. I thought it'd be a little too much. I was like, it was the Jets. If it was the Cowboys, I'd rock the handlebars. Let's see. Hurts only 23. That's what everyone keeps on forgetting. He's so young. Like, that's my big thing with Jalen Hurts. If you could be this young in the NFL be a first-year starter with a first-year head coach after a 4-win season, blah, blah, blah. And you come in and you're in Pro Bowl consideration and you make the playoffs your first year as a starter? Yeah, I'm kind of interested in you and you sticking around. Josh Sweat needs some help. The other side of the line of scrimmage needs or misses Brandon Graham. They still do. There's no doubt. I agree with you, John. Random Anton, I'm going to say. I've become pretty used to them being bad in the first half and playing good in the second half. That's what the last 3 weeks has really done. And the game against the Panthers, if you remember. James is saying we are champions. All right. Of the wild card. Yeah, let's hope. Penny says go Owls. All right. I can't believe it. Written bonus Farzy. Yeah, JD, what's going on? Sammy, Hurts counts $3 million against the cap. Get a Super Bowl before his big contract. I agree. Nate, what's going on? Nate says, nah, Farzy, we're cool with you talking. Thank you. That'd be a real disappointment if you just tuned in and we're like, can't stand this guy. Shut up already. I will say that's what I don't miss at all about Sports Talk Radio is people were like, shut up, you're always talking. And it's like, literally, that's why they told me to show up. Shout out to Mrs. Farzy. Yeah, Mrs. Farzetta. Eleanor, man. Eleanor's awesome. Rick, thank you for acknowledging my mom. She is pretty awesome. Stay away from it. Sean says, stay away from any comment section except this one. Yeah, my mom can check out this comment section. She absolutely can. Will Gannon ever bring pressure in the first half? I'm telling you, there were at least 2 different occasions where he brought pressure in the first half. They did not get home either time. They're not big blitzes. When we had Quentin Michael on a couple of weeks ago, we talked about how the blitzes against the Chargers weren't really blitzes because you were really just sending 4 guys. You had 3 down linemen, and then you had another guy just kind of playing what they used to call the predator in Billy Davis's defense. That was Connor Barwin a lot of times, the guy that was going after the quarterback. So there you go. Random Aton says Hurts was dressed like Marty McFly from Back to the Future 2. Oversized jacket. Men's a men's a little bit. You're not wrong. You're not totally wrong. Taylor, what's going on, Taylor? Nice to have you. Sammy, once again, nice to have you. JD, James, everybody. Thanks for everyone that took part in the chat check, including, allegedly, Jalen Hurts' mom, Pamela. So there you go. Maybe we'll get her on the show. We always like to hear from mom, right? We always like to hear from mom. Here's a little thing. The Flyers, their point streak was snapped at 7. Unfortunately, they took a tough loss over the weekend. The Sixers are back in action tonight. We hope the Sixers continue to get a little win going there against the Rockets, a 10-win team like the Rockets. Hopefully they get a good showing tonight. Have I mentioned my fantasy team that I'm up for my championship tonight? So I'm really excited about that. Antonio Brown should never play in the NFL again. Had this conversation yesterday with Derek Gunn. If you didn't see it, he took his pads off during the game and left the Buccaneers. He just took his pads off on the sidelines. Mike Evans goes over to him like, dude, don't leave. And he leaves. Takes his pads off, takes his shirt off, throws the pads to the bench, throws his shirt into the crowd, starts doing like jumping jacks through the end zone on his way to the locker room, waving to the crowd. Reportedly asked police officers, state troopers, New Jersey state troopers, if they could give him a ride to the airport. Shirtless, without a wallet. The state troopers declined. He later got an Uber away from the stadium. They posted a video of him and the Uber driver who was just like, what do you call it? Like Central Casting, New York. And AB's on the phone talking about his Netflix special. It's going to be great for his Netflix special. Antonio Brown should never play in the NFL ever again. 33 years old, be 34 when next season starts. I know he's got all the talent in the world. Oh, look at the off-the-field stuff that he's done, and he's still got another chance. Look at the stuff that he did with the Raiders, calling Mike Mayock a racial slur. Look at the allegations, the sexual allegations, right? He had a chance in New England. Didn't work out in New England because of the allegations. Went to Tampa. Didn't work out. Went back to Tampa. Faked his Vax card. Went back to Tampa. Then he did the thing you just can't. Like, it's not worse than anything he's done in a moral standpoint. Just from a football standpoint speaking here. You can't quit and leave your team. And that's what he did. Anyone who gives that another chance, not a second, third, or fourth, like a fifth chance, you're crazy. Bonkers, nuts. You've lost your damn marbles if you want to give Antonio Brown another chance. For anyone that's like, maybe the Eagles should pick. No! I really think it can help. No! Like, this isn't playing a video game. It's not just, I'll just get him and there's no team chemistry. No, it's a thing. Team chemistry is a thing. I don't want any parts in Antonio Brown. And I think the vast majority of rational thinking human beings are right there with me as well. The guy should never play in the NFL again. Ever. 34 years old by the time he gets another opportunity anyway. I'm good. I think I'm good. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Great having you as part of, that was our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic. You guys really are. Record day for us today, so it was just great to have you guys along for that. Eagles playoff bound will do that for any program. So good to have you in the chat. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. My thanks to Jim Hyden, who produced the program, did a wonderful job. This is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. Great hustle to Ellis, to Brendan, and to Billy, our social media team, who do great things for the show as well. Be back with you guys tomorrow. Hugh Lamont Douglas III will join the show, break down all that is Philadelphia Eagles football, and now having to play on another short week, Saturday night, against the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, if you like me, you can get more of me on Fox 29 today. I'll be on the Fox 29 Good Day program, Fox 29 this morning at 7:45 with my good friend Gary Cobb to break it all down even more. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. And yes, happy 2022. Talk to you guys tomorrow. See ya.